It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Hey, this is Clint Boyer, driver of the Ford Fusion Rush Truck Centers, number 14. And you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. It's a lot of fun, great little karts, great facility. Now's a perfect time to go because the air's flowing really nicely. It's fairly cool in there. It's not going to be really hot and muggy, and you get to go turn some laps. The plan for today, we will recap Pocono. We'll talk about some of the NASCAR news and notes, and we will review the latest standings. 12 races to go before we do the reset for the playoffs and the Pick'ems contest for the season long. And then later today, we will launch our Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest.
I think I'm going to keep picking and just see how low I can go. You know,
where are you at in the rankings?
You
can't be lower than me.
I think right around 50 somewhere.
Okay, you are. I'm trying to find you in here real quick. I'm 45th, 64th.
Oh, I even dropped this week.
It's amazing. I
had a solid run.
Yeah.
I ran with Jamie Mack. It was okay. You know, it wasn't going to set the world on fire, but just
this is, and I'm not digging into you. I'm just
pointing out.
Yeah, you are. Maybe a little bit. You have half as many points as the leader does.
Well, I was joking with my brother about it the other day before the race, and I said, yeah, I'm like 3 races out of 20th. But I mean, that one race I missed altogether.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd be. I think Boyer scored around 30 points that race. I was going to take him, or 33, something like that. Obviously, that's not a huge difference, so it's, but I've just had a couple really bad weeks. I had California with Kevin Harvick, Guys won half the races, but when do I pick him?
Yeah.
Second to last or whatever.
I've picked him twice, and of the 5 races he's won, I have picked him for none of them.
Yeah.
So.
At least he beat Jeffrey Earnhardt when I was, when I picked him. So we got that taken care of.
So again, Pocono recap coming up in turn 1. We will talk with Mark Wyman of Predator Trailers. Now, we always joke that you don't need a fancy trailer to win races. But we kind of explored the other side of that because creature comforts definitely make you a more relaxed driver. And we'll talk about some of those aspects in turn 2 with Mark Wyman. When we sat down with him nearly 2.5 months ago.
In March at the auto show.
Over St. Patrick's Day at the O'Reilly Auto Parts Auto Show.
Yeah, and, the creature comforts help, but literally just a dependable trailer. If you don't get to the races, you're not going to win a race.
Absolutely. Zach Ralston, a Iowa native racing in the ARCA series, will join us in turn 3 to talk about his test at Charlotte Motor Speedway, his race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and his plans for the season. And then coming up in turn number 4, we will preview today's race at Michigan. We'll do that coming up here in turn number 4. All right, the Pocono recap. This turned out to be a little bit of a slow race to start with, but then everyone seemed to find their groove and got a handle on their cars, and things heated up really quickly.
Yeah, it was, again, a shifter track. It's, I think right now on the circuit, it's the only, they call it a roval, but it's the only more of an oval-type track that they do any shifting. Last year we saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. miss a shift and, hurt his engine, and then we saw Kevin Harvick miss a shift, and they even showed that before the race this past weekend, and did not hurt his car. So, it's kind of, a hit and miss on, how bad you're going to mess something up when you miss a shift. But the Fords, as always figured, were fast. Again, a big track where they can stretch it out. And you had a couple Fords on the front row, but Truex was fast and obviously proved that by winning the race. Kyle Busch was fast and incredibly fast in the Xfinity race. I mean, won the first stage. Then the stages were only 25 laps, people. So, and you're talking, laps that take 55 and 60 seconds to go around. And that's at speed.
It's a little deceptive how big that track is.
It's as big as Daytona.
I believe, lengthwise, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that it holds the record for the longest straightaway on the circuit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. But in that Xfinity race, Kyle won the first stage, got a speeding penalty coming to the pits, and it was kind of weird because his teammate Christopher Bell was behind him, and he got a speeding penalty also, so they had to go to the back of the lead lap, which I think after the 25 laps was like 22 or 23 cars, I think, if I remember right. And he still drove through up to 6th by the end of the second stage. No, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
And then Kyle Busch just demolished the field in the third section, and then he's complaining because he gets a penalty because his left front of his car was too high.
Right. Post-race, they discovered it. They announced the penalty, and then they announced the
L1 penalty.
Fine coming up on Wednesday of this week. So, yeah, he was hit with an L1 penalty and gets to pay the fines, gets to pay the points, and it doesn't really affect him.
And of course, he's playing politics and playing to all the people that don't know anything about aero and saying, well, the left front up in the air would really hurt the car. Well, no, at that speed, it takes the air off the spoiler, which
creates less drag.
And so you go faster. Now, you aren't going to see him with a penalty like this at Kansas or Texas or Atlanta. And I just know what they used to do, and they can't do it anymore at your super speedways, Daytona and Talladega, because the guys are given their shocks. But in the Cup Series, they used to actually cut a little groove in the shaft of the shock, and the shock would stick, and then they would and it would catch that groove, and it would keep the rear end squatted down, so the spoiler was out of the air. Well, it's kind of the opposite on the front of this deal. They're letting it stick when the shock goes up, so right when they accelerate and the front end extends to shift the weight to the back of the car, then it catches the groove and stays up, so the spoiler's out of the air. So it's the same principle, just front shocks compared to rear shocks, and my guess is he couldn't get the car to unload. To bring it back down. And my guess is he wasn't the only one doing it.
Right.
He's just the only one that got caught.
Absolutely. This is the Transformer cars we were talking about before where they were learning how to do this. And again, we're talking about the Xfinity Series. This isn't the Cup Series and his penalties for the 18. He cleared tech inspection for the 18 and the Cup Series. All right, let's get back to the results from Pocono. For the last couple of weeks, it's been the Kyle-Kevin show. Kevin and Kyle have won the most of all the drivers. They have absolutely walked away with the season and both of them have had tremendous seasons. Now Martin Truex Jr., who
he's been hanging around.
Considering 13 races in and considering what he did last year, has been relatively quiet for the first 13 races of the season. Well, now Martin's been able to jump in. I believe it's his second win on the season. He wins at Stage 1, finishes second in Stage 2, and wins the day. And then he takes home 57 points on the day. Kyle Larson comes home second, Kyle Busch third. Kevin Harvick comes home fourth after winning Stage 2, getting 52 points on the day, and I believe the second most points on the day. Yes, the second most. Brad Keselowski rounds out your top 5. Blaney, Almirola, Johnson, Logano, and Elliott round out your top 10. And I'll say this one more time. Johnson rounds out your top 10. It's good to see him back up into the top 10.
Yeah, he's up and being competitive, but Martin should have scored 59 points if he was first and second in stages and then wins the race.
He was first and fourth.
Okay. Well, you said first and second. So, yeah, you said he was second and first. That's why I was doing the math in my head. No, that's 59 points. But okay, so 2 more spots down, loses 2 points. There we go, 57 points.
57 points on the day. Bad day for Darrell Wallace Jr. Finishes dead last. Lost an engine 108 laps into it.
The deadly missed shift, as earlier alluded to.
Casey Kane finished 36th. The Denny Hamlin, who I took, used to be lights out at Pocono, finished 35th after finishing 5th on in Stage 1.
I don't get to say it very often.
Our buddy Landon Castle finished 31st. Eric Jones 29th. Alex Bowman 27th. Newman 25th. Suarez 24th. A lot of guys that typically you see up in the top 15 finished outside the top 30.
Well, there was a lot of struggling at the track. Might have been interesting if they maybe would have gone ahead and done a bunch of VHT on that track too, but they didn't. And another one of our friends here with the show is Derek Cope. He ran around the back, but he stayed out of trouble and, was able to save the car. Now, if they want to enter it again somewhere else, they can still go ahead and do that. But he did not start in park. He was running and doing pit stops and the whole bit.
Let's see where Derek Cope, you said?
Correct.
34th. I know that I thought he got into it, had some sort of an issue early in the race, but I thought he came to the garage for some reason for a couple of laps, but it only shows he was 8 laps down, so... Anyways, and good news today, that 99 will be running with a new driver in it. Let me see if I can get back to the page quick enough. As they announced that the Starcom Racing announced they have a rookie in the seat for today's race at Michigan, Garrett Smithley, to make his Cup Series debut at Michigan, driving the number 99 Starcom Racing. And he raced yesterday in the JD Motorsports Xfinity Series outfit. So
yeah, I was going to say he's an Xfinity Series driver. So And to go race at Michigan, I mean, obviously he's a Cup rookie, but he couldn't be a rookie to racing because they wouldn't let him on that track. But, he ran Pocono in the Xfinity Series. So, yeah, he's definitely got the credentials.
So he'll be in for today's Firekeeper Casino 400 at Michigan International Raceway, driving the number 99 Victory Lane Chevy for Starcom Racing. Good to see you, new young blood getting into the sport. And I think, I got honest, I think Starcom Racing is doing some great stuff. They're not only expanding their operation, they've got the 00 that's been running full time, but they're also getting that 99 out there more often.
Yeah, and now, they're giving another driver a chance where, maybe one of their marketing partners let's just say this kid, goes out. Landon Castle's got a 21st for the team, and maybe he can crack a top 20. And who knows who's going to jump on board if that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Good news coming from there. All right, we're going to take a break. Mark Wyman from Predator Trailers just around the corner to talk about how creature comforts can actually help you finish better at the racetrack. Turn 3, Zach Ralston will join us to talk about his ARCA Series debut at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then we will preview Michigan and get you set for the Pick'ems contest today at Michigan for the Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest. We're going to take a break. We'll come back on the front
Every
stretch.
race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
This week's young gun of the front stretch is Trent Iceman Roth, who's carrying on a 70-year tradition of Roth's racing in the Midwest. Trent grew up watching his father Travis race, and he couldn't wait for the day he could stand on the front stretch with the big check of the trophy. Trent spent 6 years in the go-kart ranks before purchasing a sport mod and racing on the big tracks. He picked up IMCA Young Gun Honors in 2015 and won Eagle Raceway's Most Popular Driver Award in 15 and 16. Last season was a big year for Trent, winning the Sport Mod Track Championship at Eagle Raceway and claiming the Nebraska State Championship. Trent decided to move into the modified class this season, where he's already found victory lane twice. Trent plans to enjoy every second at the dirt track for the next 2 years before he heads to school to be a dentist. Make sure to keep your eye out in the pits for the 14T Shell Valley Classic wheels, Razor chassis by Roth, Speedway crate engine driven by the Iceman Trent Roth. Thanks to I-80 Speedway for supporting this week's Young Gun on the front stretch.
The 2018 season is in full swing for I-80 Speedway. The Silver Dollar Nationals featuring the Lucas Oil late models and USMTS Modifieds. The Midwest Fall Brawl featuring the Nebraska 360 Sprints. The Cornhusker Classic. And of course, the best weekly racing featuring 7 NASCAR classes. I80Speedway.com for race dates and tickets. Call Lee today for family or group tickets at 342-3453. I-80 Speedway is the place to be on Friday nights for NASCAR dirt track action.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Hey, this is Courtney Forrest, driver of the Advanced Auto Parts Funny Car, and you're listening to the Metro's only all-racing talk show, The Front Stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch, heading into turn number 2, and we're going to take a little bit different of a take. Normally we talk to track owners, drivers, promoters, car owners, crazy people, and this time we're going to talk to a guy that's
all of the above.
Yeah, and this time we're going to talk to somebody that is supplying the racing industry with comfort. How's that for a pitch?
That's a sales pitch.
I'll be looking for a job maybe one of these days.
Definitely.
Making your trip to the track great, one trailer at a time.
There you go. Mark Wyman joining us on the show. Owner or co-owner or just head man at Predator Trailers?
Well, I guess I'm supposed to tell you I'm co-owner. John Hampel and I both own the place. Right. We'll just leave him in the back, let him work in the shop. He's happy not to be seen or heard.
Yeah. It's like I'm the face of the show, and then Dirk just does all the work.
Well, I don't know. You didn't have much to pick from.
Yeah, I know. It's been rough. Want to get you on the show a little bit, just kind of talk about the trailers. Because I've always joked about it, and people have talked about it. It's obviously trailers don't win races, but if you want to take another spin on it, that a comfortable driver is a more go-getting driver.
Well, let's look at the stats. Just go back to one driver, and we can say we did this on purpose, but we didn't. But let's go back to what Kyle Burke did. Didn't have his own trailer, didn't have his comfort zone in his fashion, didn't do as well, kind of had a tougher year. One of those type of situations.
Well, and nobody's ever won a race not getting their car to the track.
Correct. And as much as we've laughed and talked about it all the time, trailers don't win races. Yes, they do.
Yep.
It's a new era. Yes, they do. You have to be mentally there, physically there, all the time. The more time you spend with your car, the better off you are. The guy that comes down on races and just brings a helmet, shows up, and not very often you see those up front.
Competition's so sharp.
Just a couple of weeks ago, we talked with Derek Cope on the radio show, and it was after the Phoenix Raceway race, and they had to change that 00 car. Now, during Phoenix Raceway practice, they wrecked their primary car, and their backup car was their intermediate track car.
Was set up for Fontana.
So they had to swap everything
out.
And then so they had the car to run for Phoenix.
And then run Phoenix, and then strip it all again and put the other stuff back for California.
And they got to do it in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, the good old days.
Right, the good old days. And
for a cup team.
And I got to imagine, he was talking about, he said it's not the most comfortable situation, but we're getting it done. And I can only imagine that if he'd have been we've seen some of these guys show up to the track, up to NASCAR tracks with a simple hauler that looks like a late model hauler. That it's not a toter, it's not a trailer, it's just a just
a pickup with a 40-foot gooseneck on it.
And to try to change out parts on that would be the same deal. I mean, it'd be such a pain in the butt. And these trailers now are built to where they're basically a rolling shop.
Definitely. Rolling shop in your fashion to help you out, to help streamline your business. And the racing is a business. If you're going to be anybody, it's going to be a business, and you treat it like a business. Of course, this business loses money, but it's still a business.
Hemorrhages money.
Yes. But if you can imagine going to a race, you get at the end of the night, you got to pick everything up, go stay at the hotel. Hotel don't have any room. You get up in the morning, you got to go wash the car, or unless you didn't do it the night before, you stretch out in some parking lot somewhere, start working on it. Time to get back to the track. You got to pick it all back up, go back, put it in the trailer, go back to the track, strip it all back out again.
Yep.
That's a lot. Now, if you're at the track and you're sitting there in the hauler, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you can't think because you don't know what you did on this or that. You get up and go look. Even if you're in your whitey-tighties, go look and see what's out there in the race hauler and say, yes, I got those springs here. I can do this. I can do that.
Take me back to what happened with Kyle Burke. I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe a brake locked up?
Yes.
And that's one of those simple things that Pat Eccles is a great sponsor of this show, and I preach to people all the time. Preventative maintenance on your heating and cooling unit will do yourself wonders. It's the same thing when it comes to your race trailer. Preventative maintenance can save you one heck of a headache.
The number of times guys go to the track, no lights, no brakes, things like that. And that's on just a little open trailer.
Yeah.
Really, no brakes. You're waiting for something stupid to happen. Then you're going to be panicking. But it's the same with the big haulers. The brake hung up on the left rear of the trailer, and if you knew where Kyle lived and the conditions, there's no way to know because the gravel road is so mushy, you don't know how far and how hard you're dragging.
Yeah.
And by the time they drug it 4 miles to the concrete, and then they get on the concrete, now they go, yeah, something's wrong. I think it's with the truck. Before they could figure it out for sure what was wrong, and I think it went 2 miles. The tire blew, they caught on fire. That's one of the things. Lots of fire extinguishers, keep them.
Yeah.
Try to put the fire out. If you can't put the fire out, get your butt back in that hauler and take off down the road as fast as you can. The cop's not going to pull you over. He don't care because he's going to hear it on the radio. You're on fire and you're headed to the nearest fire station. The fire truck's headed to you.
Yeah.
You cut the time in half.
Okay.
You might even turn around and get to the fire station before the volunteers get there if that's the type of situation. But don't open the doors and try to save fuel, tires, and try to put it out. You can't put out, you can't put out.
Yeah.
Take off. Otherwise, put out. Fire extinguishers, leave the door shut.
Was that one of those deals with the brakes that it was a preventative maintenance thing, or was it just something that failed?
That's just something might happen. On a big trailer like that with air brakes, that's just something that might happen.
But I've heard you talk about whenever I come down and chew your ear about doing different stuff, I've heard you talk about some of the biggest issues you have with guys is grease your dang axles. Grease this, grease that. It will do wonders for you.
We do it on the race car.
Yeah.
We take care of that race car. It's like our finest baby. Man, you don't understand. I've run these 3 weeks now. I'm going to pull it all apart and re-grease it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that to the race car.
Yeah.
And if you're winning races, you do that. And you crawl underneath the car. We used to laugh because I used to crawl underneath the car and take a nap. And it doesn't matter where you fell asleep. When you woke up, you'd kind of see something. It's like, Yeah, that was the reason why I slept here. I just woke up and saw that.
Scott Bloomquist wakes up underneath his car every once in a while. He was telling us about that last year.
I've explained to Dan how racers will buy $2,500 carburetors and $50 helmets.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yes, you protect what's valuable.
You're taking care of the race car, but not taking care of the trailer.
Yes.
Yes. And Predator Trailers, you guys are building all forms of trailers. It's not just the highfalutin $250,000, $500,000 trailers. You'll help a guy out with a smaller trailer and something to get along for now.
We do anything and everything. We do the big trailers with the lift gates, repair lift gates. We work with S&S. They've been great for us. They turn around and build all these haulers everybody likes, and they turn around and fix their stuff. Everybody else, they send us.
Yeah.
So we're like a little arm of them that they've been great for us.
I tell you, some of the trailers I saw at your shop that day when we were going around before we get lunch, just immaculate. I mean, gorgeous work. You guys do fantastic work.
We do, like I said, we do a little everything.
Mm-hmm.
Dyno trailers, ATM trailers, little tailgate trailers.
Series trailers.
The what?
Series trailers. SLMR series
trailers.
trailers.
Series trailers. Oh, yes, of course. the Malvern Bank.
Yep, the Malvern Bank Super.
What do they call it? Malvern Bank SLMR.
Yep.
MBS LMR. There we go.
MBS, yeah.
We got a new trailer
Alphabet
for them.
series.
Yes, we got a new trailer for them going. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You know, trying to help everybody out.
And outside of the racing world, too, I think you guys did a video trailer. I mean, it was just a giant video screen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that a tailgate deal or something?
No,
or?
it's one of those deals with a guy who runs all over the United States and advertises. And he has hit, I think, all 48 states, whatever he's hit. But he hits those with a big a truck that has huge TVs on them, does mobile advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done those. We've done Superflow dyno trailers that goes around the diesel stuff. So it's not just dirt. You dirt guys think that's all there is.
It's
dirt.
all there is. It's all.
No,
I don't think it's important.
There's asphalt all over to get there and to drag down and to make circles out of. It's just
don't tell some of my listeners there's asphalt racing. They'll get mad at me and they'll shut the radio off.
Well, 1320 videos is another one we try to take care of. We take care of those guys. Now, see, then you get in a young group of people that, you know, a little 4-cylinder. It's like, really?
Yeah.
4 cylinders? You're going to make noise with that? And they do. They make noise.
Yeah. Predator Trailers, you guys do a fantastic job down there.
Thank you.
And,
we do appreciate it. And
even though I think I've talked to a lot of drivers about it that you don't need that expensive trailer, but when you're sitting at the Silver Dollar Nationals and you're there for 3 days and it's a heat index of 119, I bet you wish you would have bought a nice enclosed trailer with air conditioning and in an area to lay down and take a nap, take a shower.
Shower's
Mark's
nice.
already proven underneath the car is a good place for a nap.
Well, it does. Put a fan on there, lay under the car, take a nap.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's all kinds of ways to spend your money with us. We'll help you.
Yeah. Where are you guys located at?
Papillion, 370 and 72nd, just northwest corner. There's a frontage road. We kind of got a little nice shop down there.
Mm-hmm. Usually a trailer or two outside. It's kind of easy to find.
A couple trailers, you notice.
I was just driving around one day, and I thought, well, who the heck's got all those trailers sitting out there? And then I started looking. I was like, oh, that's where Predator's at. Oh, okay.
Oh, you can see us if you look hard right off of 370. But sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah.
But, we got containers down there. We've got container jobs. We do parts and pieces for houses, cabinet companies. It's just not trailers, motor coaches. It's whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. You get out to the races still much?
Not as much as I have in the past.
Yeah. It has to slow down at some time.
Well,
and you're a busy guy.
It does. And my biggest deal is I've always tried to find a replacement for the race car.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to find a replacement for a race car because there's no higher high than taking a dirt car between two other cars. You might touch them, might not. And that's what I said. I didn't touch him, and he said I did. But
we were just talking about that with somebody that it's the best thing. The thing I like the most about the race community is you can put 10 people in a row and you can watch the exact same race, and you're gonna have 10 different stories of how that race.
Exactly.
Everyone interprets every corner, every angle, everything just a little bit different.
Because it's in my world. What I see, I'm going forward, and you entered my world. It's like no. you moved into theirs. But no, I was planning on going there. That was my line. Yeah, but I interrupted your line, so it's now my line.
I was just talking with a girl Thursday night at Horseman's Park.
You talked to a girl?
Thursday. I did.
Really?
She's taken. Todd Bell's girlfriend.
Okay, well, you can talk to a taken one.
I think it's Carrie is her name. I can't quite remember her name, but she used to race sprint cars against Dennis Parker. And we were having this discussion about the interpretation that each driver will have on a situation. And she was telling me there was this time that she got out of the car. She won the race. She got out of the car, and she's all celebrating, and she went over to talk to Dennis, and Dennis says, "I let you win that." And she said, "How do you say?" And he said, "I had so many times I could have moved you, but I didn't. I was nice, and I let you win it." She goes, "Are you drunk? Are you kidding me?" She went and showed me in the video. He's a half a lap behind.
Oh, yeah.
But he could have got her any time.
Yep.
Yeah, when she was lapping him, I could have slowed down and taken you out when you lapped me.
Well, and that's I raced with my dad, and I think he come back at 59 years of age. I'm not there yet, and I can't imagine coming back racing. So he came back racing at 59. Mm-hmm. I think it was his second or third year. We was racing at Denison. He told me, you need wins. I said, I know I need wins. I'll tell you what. He says, you show your nose. If I've ever leading a race and you show your nose, I'll let you have it. And it wasn't 2 to 3 weeks later. He was leading the race. I showed my nose in 1 and 2 on the white. He bobbled and took off. And then we do that in 3 and 4. We go down the backstretch. I show my nose again, get on beside him. He kind of bobbles, and I backed off because I didn't want sure if he was going to hit me. I kind of tried to follow right beside him.
Yeah.
Come out for the 4 for the checkers, and I turn. I show him my nose, and I know he saw it. He put his foot to the floor. He won the race. He says, I just couldn't do it.
I tell you, that's. I always love it when people say, "Oh, he'll give him the win."
I'll give you the win.
That is the dumbest argument in the world of racing. No
Yes.
driver will ever be within earshot of a win and give it to somebody else.
No.
I don't care if they've won 50 races that year. If they're ahead in the races, if they're ahead in the points by 10 races,
and
they're going to get the win.
You're quitting. It's your last night, and I'm in a race. I just started, but yeah, I'm not going to let you win.
Yeah, nope,
no,
not going to do it. Not going to do it. PredatorTrailers.com, right?
MyPredatorTrailer.com.
MyPredatorTrailer.com.
Yeah, because you got to have My Predator Trailer.
There you go. Mark, appreciate the time, bud.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the time.
Have a good one.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Hi, this is Brad Keselowski, 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion, and you're listening to The Front Stretch.
Rolling into turn 3 on the front stretch. I'm Dan Taylor. That's Dirk Houston. Joining us on the phone now, a Iowa native that is currently trying to make his way up in the National Touring Series ranks. Racing in asphalt, currently racing with the ARCA Series. He'll be at Iowa Speedway. Fingers crossed he'll be at Iowa Speedway Saturday, July 7th as the series hits Newton, Iowa. Joining us on the show now, Zach Ralston of Zach Ralston Racing. How you doing, bud?
Doing great, man. How you guys doing today?
Oh, awesome. It's been way too long since we've had you on the show.
Yes, it has, absolutely. I know we've both been busy, though. Looking forward to this great racing season, that's for sure.
Isn't that great? I mean, it's one side of the coin to the other. I mean, in December and January, we can't figure out what to do with anything because we got so much time on our hands. And then as soon as end of March hits, it all explodes, and we don't have 10 minutes to spare.
Absolutely. Everybody's thinking about Daytona, and then when Daytona comes around, everybody crashes on the race and stuff like that. So right now I'm fortunate enough to be talking to you from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm pretty blessed to be down here.
That's got to be an awesome experience.
Up there for the ARCA race, correct?
Yes, sir. I've been down here for about a month, unexpectedly. We sent my car down here on the hunch just to race the test.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunate enough, I was lucky enough to come down here, save some money from my tiling business, and come down here about a week before the test and get my car ready. So we just pulled it out of the garage in Iowa and sent it down here. And I came down and had a good friend of mine, my crew chief, Tommy Bear. He helped me put it together, just him and I. And my dad flew down for the test, and we took it over to Charlotte Motor Speedway and got to run some laps. So it was
That's
great.
pretty awesome. Let's talk about that tiling business real quick, because I see you post pictures every once in a while. You guys do some pretty awesome work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Our Tile and Remodeling is the name of it. I started about 2 years ago in July now, and it's just me. I have a couple good friends that help me out once in a while when I get overwhelmed, but I do custom showers, backsplashes, and insulation, installing tile, basically.
Yeah, you got to do good work to be able to afford to race.
Yes, sir. I have to come back to Iowa to get some tiling done, actually. So I'm able to do this again.
I get a little frustrated when I see the pictures you guys post because like I said, you do some beautiful work. And then I go into my shower and I see the caulking job that I did the last time. And it's amazing we have the same arms, legs, and brain. Because my caulking job is absolutely pathetic.
No, I'm drawing the line on the brain. I'm drawing the line on your brain being the same with anybody.
Thanks, Dirk. It's a little bit bigger, I know. But that's awful nice of you to say.
I appreciate the compliments on the tile work. I've been working hard on that as well. That's something I'm trying to get going to help fund my racing, along with sponsors and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's a lot more difficult, so. I'm gonna do it and try to showcase my talent either way. So whether I pay for it or somebody else comes along and helps out.
Well, maybe when we get to see you in person in a couple of weeks, you can give me some tips on how to run a smooth bead. Because, anyways, my girlfriend would greatly appreciate it.
Just practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was my girlfriend, I'd just hand her the gun and say, "Here you go." You think it's so easy?
Yeah, I should try that. All right, so let's talk about the racing. You got a little bit of sponsorship put together. You're able to get the car down to the test, and then, like you were mentioning earlier, you got to go and race a little bit at the Charlotte Motor Speedway before the NASCAR guys showed up. I believe that was the week of the All-Star race, right?
Yes, sir. So we ended up going to the test and running some laps at the test. And fortunately, I was just going out there to race the track. So we were down in horsepower because I own my own car. So it's an old style steel body car. So it's a old Austin Dillon car that I own and an old SB2 Chevy motor, carbureted engine too. Mm-hmm. So now the ARCA cars are a composite body car that looks more like the Cup cars do. And they have create a lot more downforce. And they also run a Ilmore fuel-injected motor that has about 40 more horsepower than I was up running in my car. Wow. So I was definitely the underdog in the field, but we were consistently running in the 32s all day. So I ran about 30 laps, and the owner of the team that I've been down here, Andy Hillenberg, he owns Fast Track Racing. He owns the number that I ran. He told me to park my car, and I was like, well, we only ran 30 laps. I couldn't understand. He said, you're running in the 32s consistently. It's comfortable. You need to run this race. Mm-hmm. So we stopped right there. Didn't waste any more money on that set of tires because we needed only one more set of tires to run the race. Mm-hmm. So we didn't know if we could get the tires. So fortunately, I had a good friend of mine out of Ohio. Not Omaha.
Same thing.
I wish he was out of Omaha. Yeah. No, it's Toledo, Ohio. A good friend of mine, Pete Bailey, he hooked us up with a set of tires. He helped me out in 2012 when I raced my first time at Daytona too. So he helped us out get a set of tires, and we went to the race. And I can't explain it to you guys. It was one of the greatest times of my life racing.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Did they have the traction compound on for your race? And if so, did they have it on for your practice? I was just wanting to know if there was a big difference with that stuff.
They did spray the track for our race, but they sprayed the top part of the track, and no one really runs up to the top part of the track. And they had nationwide testing there the day before our test, and the trucks were there racing the week before us. So it was on the track, but it was up out of the groove. So no one was getting on any of that stuff. Yes, sir. They explained that to us in the driver's meeting before the race. It's pretty interesting how they spray the track. Try to get them taxier now.
Well, I've done plenty of drag racing, so I know what the VHT compound does and what it is. We used to soak our tires in it overnight and stuff. But
drag racing. He's talking about for drag racing.
Yes, sir.
He never soaked tires for circle track racing.
Hey,
I would if I had a tire to soak. I don't have a circle track tire to soak.
A good friend of mine, Doug Stringer, who put me in my race car, he owns the NHRA team, Great Clips, and Strut Masters team with Clay Milliken. They just won again this weekend.
Yep, that they did.
That's pretty cool.
That they did.
I know you've been getting close to some stuff with Andy Hillenberg and his team. Has anything progressed past conversations and being able to lock down a more firm schedule?
That's a great question. Today I actually had a meeting this morning with Andy. He would like me to run as much as I possibly can, and I understand that's great to have an owner like him say, I'd love to have you in my cars as much as I can. So when I don't have funded drivers in my car or people that basically funded drivers in my car, if I need a driver, I'll be the first one to get called. Mm-hmm. So we've already talked about running Iowa, Chicago together. I'm personally going to try to run Kansas at the end of the year. Okay. Get all my eggs together and fund it myself again, just like we did this race. If nothing comes above, but we're going to get a sponsor, so they're going to come. But we had a great race.
Yeah.
So,
I know that Charlotte race you were doing fairly well, and then I think you got loose in 3 or 4 and scraped the wall.
Yes, sir. I actually got, before that, I got loose in 1, and I was battling for 14th position against Michael Self, a friend of mine, and he's actually the winner of Daytona. So we were battling for 14th, and it was only lap 20 in the race, and I shouldn't have been racing so hard. I should have let him go, or he should have let me go, actually. But it's hard to do when you have a steel body car up against the winner of Daytona. So and Michael's a great driver. So I ended up scraping the wall, overdriving turn 1 but I ended up passing him out of 2. And I made the pass, and my spotter, Chris Lambert, he's actually Denny Hamlin's spotter. I was fortunate enough to get him on the spotter stand for me. So Chris told me to let off a car length sooner, getting into 3, so we could hammer off into 4 and be clear. Well, I let off a car length sooner. I think Michael drove it in a car length deeper, and the steel body cars to the composite body cars, they just suck the air off the back end of the car because I run a tiny spoiler and they have a huge front nose. So it pulled some, either that or me getting into 1 before that messed up the steering enough, but it pulled me enough to smack the wall and knock the steering toe out about a 1/4 inch. So we had to pit under green to check everything because we didn't want to kill a car. We weren't racing for position, but just my mistake, overdriving a little bit. I learned a lot. It was awesome.
But is it a mistake when you're having that much fun?
Oh, right. I know.
There's still a bill to pay. It's a mistake.
That's a good point.
Right. I was smiling the whole time, and just to be competitive, and we were running 31 in the 31 flat around there, or not flat, 31 second range. And to run that in a steel body car, I don't know what the old times were back in the day, but that's got to be one of the fastest times around that track in a steel body car, ARCA car.
I was talking to Zach Ralston, who is an Iowa native, currently trying to get a little more funding for the ARCA series. By the way, if you own a big business and you want to get behind an up-and-coming driver, give Zach a buzz. You can find him on Facebook. Zach Ralston Racing is the Facebook page. You do a really good job, Zach, with keeping your fans up to date with what's going on and doing Facebook live videos and that kind of fun stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely want to show I'm getting some help from a company called Epiphany in Marion, Iowa. They're helping me out a little bit with my marketing stuff and getting the sponsor stuff working. But I wanted to also show with my live videos kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you don't get to see.
Yeah.
And the actual hard work and explain to people, sometimes you do mess up and sometimes it costs a lot of money when you make those mistakes or it's not that much. And also kind of show people that I'm doing this myself. Like I literally sent my car down here from Iowa, jumped on a plane to get it ready, and we went and battled with some of the best up-and-coming drivers in the NASCAR circuit. So
yeah, I was going to say, I caught your thing on Facebook where you just got in a hauler and you were peeling off your fire suit. Well, this didn't end just like we wanted it to.
Right. Yeah, it didn't. Definitely, I should have been more patient. We had a different plan, but it just never goes to that's racing. That's the best part about racing. So we had a lot of fun, learned a lot, and we definitely turned some heads because I shouldn't have been. I mean, I should have. Obviously, I was, but we were a lot more competitive than we probably should have been with a steel body car down for 40 horsepower.
Yeah, and I met Andy Hillenberg a couple times. The first time I can specifically remember was maybe 2003. He was with a truck in Daytona, and I saw it on his truck as they were bringing it through tech, and I said, "Well, where's Andy at?" And he's standing right there, and he goes, "Well, that's me." I said, "I know an Andy Hillenberg, and he don't look nothing like you." And I'd met the sprint car driver before out of Oklahoma.
Right.
And, I'm like, "You're not Andy." Like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
Oops.
So
yeah, he's the IndyCar driver out of Indiana. So
Zach, a lot was made a couple of weeks ago as NASCAR acquired the ARCA series and is going to bring it under its banner. Is there any concern in the future of what that might bring if they decide to shut the series down of what you're going to be able to do? Because now all of a sudden the funding that is tough to get to go ARCA series racing is going to be much tougher to go truck series racing.
Right. Yes, sir. I think it's a good thing. No matter what, change is good. The ARCA series needs help. The NASCAR series needs help, as always, too. Everybody needs help in the racing game. But I welcome the change. I think it's an awesome opportunity for young up-and-coming drivers to be able to put the NASCAR name finally behind the ARCA series, because we actually run – K&N has that series behind them, and we actually run bigger racetracks and some of the same NASCAR tracks as they do as well, but we actually run the super speedways and big tracks. So we don't get that recognition from NASCAR, and now we will. So I think it'll help tremendously. And I have a lot of respect for NASCAR, and that's my goal, to be in NASCAR. So whether it's trucks or the ARCA series, I'm going to keep racing. So I think it's good. I think it'll help the sport. The sponsor game is always going to be tough and always has been tough. So the ability will show. Will shine, I believe.
Well, you're going to have to start reading some more of the NASCAR sites on Facebook, because you've got a lot of respect for NASCAR. That is definitely in the minority. Dan and I talk about it all the time, constantly. If people would if they're going to say something bad, let's go back to the old way. Don't say it at all if it's going to be bad. Just,
We need to practice that more with social media today. You don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
I know, and I believe that puts some fear into a lot of my old dirt track racing friends, and I love dirt racing so much and everything. And if you ask a few dirt people, why don't you move up, or why don't you go to the next level? And you're like, well, NASCAR's this, and it's too expensive, and it's all that. Well, it's actually not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work whether you're racing go-karts or not. We go all in. You should see us try to win a go-kart national championship. We go all in. So whether it's racing that or racing here at Charlotte, we're all in. So it's just your commitment level and stuff like that too. So no, I believe in the sport, so I love any type of racing.
Yeah,
I'm not going to dog NASCAR, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we believe in the sport too. Yep. We do comment sometimes, maybe negatively, on some of their decisions, and not rules decisions.
I think we do create constructive criticism. We don't attack.
That you can put it that way.
I
mean, but
it's enjoying listening to you guys. So don't
appreciate
stop,
that.
Whatever you're doing.
The video you posted on your Facebook page about a month ago, where it went behind the helmet with Zach Ralston. That had to be tough. You went really deep on some subjects.
I did. I appreciate you mentioning that. I did. I released a video kind of telling my background, my story, my life losses and my gains in life as well. So I wanted people to kind of know where I came from and what I'm about and where I'm leading myself to as well. So I kind of honor my brother and sister as well that passed and show people that, you could go through adversity and so much loss and stuff and keep digging and keep fighting, and you'll come up on top if you keep working on it. So I appreciate you mentioning that story.
A lot of things can change your life, but only one thing will end it.
Absolutely.
And I give you a lot of credit. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to be a driver in the first place, but to lose a brother and a sister in auto accidents, and you've still got the drive to go out there and be a racer. I mean, that takes a lot.
Yes, sir, it does. It wasn't always my intention to kind of push it and go in this direction. Like I was trying to be a mechanic down here for a while, and I could never give it up, and I knew that's where I needed to be. And unfortunately, this weekend and everything proved with lap times don't lie and stuff now. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very, it was an honor just to kind of share my story about my brother and sister and because they were racers. They both raced go-karts with me, and they were hard, just as competitive as I am. So just to kind of share their story a little bit, what I've been through was definitely was a great thing.
If you haven't seen it yet, head over to Zach Ralston Racing on Facebook. We'll share the video again on our Facebook page. You guys can like Zach's page and keep up to date with everything. But I highly suggest you it was only a couple of minute video, maybe 3-4 minutes long. Well worth it, because you get in deep with what's going on with your the inspiration behind everything and your drive to be a good driver.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you calling me and keeping me posted with everything, and keep up the good work on the show too.
Thanks a lot for your time. Really do appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season, and we'll see you soon.
Anytime. That sounds great. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye.
Look him up today, Zach Ralston Racing. We're going to take a break. We'll come back at turn number 4. We will preview today's race at Michigan, and we'll get you set for the Pick'ems contest. There's just about 2 or 3 hours left to get signed up for the Crewman for a Day Pick'ems contest at Iowa Speedway. We'll be back here on the Front Stretch.
The 2018 season is in full swing for I-80 Speedway. The Silver Dollar Nationals featuring the Lucas Oil late models and USMTS modifieds. The Midwest Fall Brawl featuring the Nebraska 360 Sprints. The Cornhusker Classic. And of course, the best weekly racing featuring 7 NASCAR classes. I80Speedway.com for race dates and tickets. Call Lee today for family or group tickets at 342-3453. I-80 Speedway is the place to be on Friday nights for NASCAR dirt track action.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around the professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Hi, Dave Despain with MAV TV, which is your television destination if you're looking for motorsports. Radio, you found it. You're listening to the Front Stretch.
Welcome back to the Front Stretch. Heading into turn number 4, brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the Front Stretch. Couple of things of note. Make a mark on your calendar. Wednesday, July 18th. It's bike night. $2 Busch Lights and $3 aluminum bottles of 16-ounce beers available in the outdoor beer garden. But inside in the Brickyard, Dirk and I will be hanging out, just watching the race. We're not going to do a big thing like we do for Homestead and Daytona. We just like to show up and hang out. But they will have the Eldora Truck Series race, the Dirt Derby 150. They'll have them on the big screens, and the sound will be going too. So that way you can hear all the latest coverage from FS1, and you can hear Michael Waltrip talk about that dirt hill thing that they be running their tires up on
the
there.
The berm.
Oh, he didn't call it that.
Yeah, he made up some word.
Oh, God, it was terrible.
But, if we get enough people that stop by, maybe we'll put together a pool or two.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do that. So that's going to be Wednesday, July 18th. If you haven't been to Quaker Steak yet, they've got a couple of things out there. Now, of course, what I do for everybody is I go ahead and explore the entire menu for you guys so I can advise you on the proper foods to purchase while you're there enjoying your frosty cold ones. The first one is this new one called as Jacked Up BLT, and it's, oh my God, it's lights out amazing. And it's not a bad proportion. It's, if you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, you don't want to eat too much, eat half the sandwich, you got another half to take home later. It's fantastic. There is center cut bacon that is as thick as a ham steak.
So it's a ham steak disguised as bacon.
Absolutely. Absolutely delicious. Jacked Up BLT, a little bit of spice, not too bad though. It's not the buffalo chicken sandwich we had at Kansas a couple of years ago. Guys, I literally had to go to the bar in front of a bar full of patrons and ask for a glass of milk. That's
halfway through a beer.
That's how hot this sandwich was. It's not that hot, not the Jacked Up BLT. It's got a little spice to it, but it's not too bad. The other one is one of the classics that they brought back, and it's the cheesesteak wrap. It's in like a gyro bread. And it's, oh my God, it's so good. I think it's my new favorite. I thought the Jacked Up BLT was my new favorite, but it might be this one.
So Euro bread, is that like a pita that's not made into a pocket?
Is that pita? Is that what it is? Is it pita bread? I can't remember what the bread is that they wrap it in.
It looks like pita bread that's not made into a pocket.
That might be what it is. Either way, absolutely delicious. It's a classic off their menu from years back, and it's fantastic. In fact, I'm going to go grab one. I know I ate one for bike night on Wednesday, probably ate one for Thursday, and I'll be eating one on July 18th for the Dirt Derby.
And if you forget, they still have wings.
Absolutely. Best wings in the town. I'll put them up against anybody's wings. And I've ate a lot of wings in my life. And just because Quaker Steak is a fine sponsor of this show doesn't mean I'm giving them any more credit.
No.
They've got awesome wings.
And just because it's close to your house doesn't happen to hurt either.
That helps. That helps a little bit. All right, today's race at Michigan. Man, this is going to be a big, fast aero track. And you're going to see your usuals. I expect to see the Fords up front. Mostly Kevin Harvick and, maybe your Joey Logano. Brad Keselowski's usually pretty good this one. And this is an ego track because they want a lot. The Fords and the Chevys want to be in victory lane. They
put home territory for them.
They put an emphasis on this track. And Toyota loves to win at Michigan because then they get to rub it in the classic Detroit muscle, their faces a little bit.
Yeah, and believe me, they do when they do win there. Toyota in the Big 3 Series has got its first win there with Travis Kvapil in a truck in 2004. that truck, when we did that day take them all to the chassis dyno, and it was easy to see why he did win.
Mm-hmm.
Chassis dyno don't lie. The numbers were impressive.
So that's coming up today at Michigan, the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan. Coverage is on Fox and MRN at noon, with the green flag set to wave at 1. Noon is the deadline for getting signed up for the Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest. We announced it last weekend. We've got about 65 people in it right now. I expect that number is going to start to balloon a little bit as the race gets a little bit closer and people get signed up for it. Thanks to Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners and a financial advisory group that is a part of Ameriprise. Find them out now at truewealthpartners.com. Find out more information about that and contact Rick. I don't care how old you are. It's never too late or too early to start talking about retirement.
Yep. And we need to thank Iowa Speedway
absolutely
for helping us out. They're getting passes, and we're going to have some tickets for 2nd through 5th place. And then we've got Jimmy Means Racing, who is the employer currently of our buddy David Starr.
So we'll be partnering with them to execute this promotion, and it's a lot of fun. I think the best term that we got out of the entire thing was Mike Mittler when we were down in Kansas City talking to him. He said once you see the inside of the circus, it never looks the same from the outside of the circus. And if you experience it, that's the best way to put it. Kathy and her husband, when they were down in Kansas City last year, she was absolutely blown away. I mean, just the
last
circus
year, you mean a month
it.
ago?
No, that was Karen and her husband RL.
Yep.
But everybody has said the same thing. I can't believe everything that goes into this. It looks so much easier on TV, but when you see all that goes into it, it's you gain a whole new respect.
You see the whole orchestra.
Absolutely. So get a part of that contest. Thanks to Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners, the contest is absolutely free. What you're going to win is 2 hot passes to Iowa Speedway, and you must be 18 years or older in order to use those passes.
That's a track and NASCAR deal. That's not us, folks.
Absolutely. And then you'll get to go down on Friday, hang out with the team all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then do the race on Saturday. And it's an experience unlike any other. You push the car through tech. You get to see where these guys are. The other teams are fudging the numbers a little bit, where they're trying to get away from it. You'll watch and you can ask questions with the team members, with the tech officials, anybody that's around. They'll answer your questions. They're all very friendly. You hang out with the team. You get team merchandise. You get to eat team food. You get to see the hauler. You get to meet and greet with the drivers. And like I told Karen and her husband Rob at the May race in Kansas, there's going to be times where you'll be down for about an hour, hour and a half. Just go walk around. Go out to the front concourse. You can go see everything that they have to offer for fan experience, or you can go walk around the garage. You'll run into several of these Xfinity Series regulars. You can get autographs and pictures with them. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and Jessica does a great job, David's PR gal, and I know last year when we did it with them, she took the people to the drivers' meeting, which is something you hear about, but nobody gets to do that, but you will.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting experience.
The only way you really get this stuff is winning it through us or to be a big-time sponsor of one of those teams. So it's, 10, 15 grand to start off with, or upwards of the multi-million-dollar long-term deals, you'll get that same exposure. But if you don't have that kind of money to spend, thanks to Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners, sign up for the contest, pick the best 5 races you can ever pick. And unfortunately, you can't just pick Kevin Harvick every race. You have to you can only pick a driver once in the entire race. So
once in the 5 races.
Pick a Kyle, pick a Martin, and then you've got 2 other races to mix in there.
But the thing is, like we saw last year, I don't remember which one of the contests was. Like the top 4 people all had the exact same 5 drivers picked, just in different order. Mm-hmm. And one week your guy, he might do a sweep and be worth 60 points. Well, he might win the race the next week, which means, somebody else picked him the next week as a winner, but he might only get like 50 points. Mm-hmm. So you're 10 points ahead of them if you had any type of driver at all, the second race.
Absolutely. The way to sign up for that, send us an email, frontstretchradio@gmail.com. Again, it's free to enter, and you've got until about noon today to get signed up for it and to be a part of that contest. Let's take a little bit of time to talk about that Malvern Bank Series. Well, with the Go 50 getting rained out, they've moved that $10,000 race to the Thursday of the Silver Dollar Nationals. They've moved the Nebraska 360s off of that race and placed them the following weekend that will be at Iowa Speedway. They place them at Iowa Speedway as the main attraction for the the NASCAR Weekly Racing. And on the 27th, the Malvern Bank Super Late Model Series was supposed to be in action that night, but Denison is going to make up their Malvern Bank Series race on the 27th. So Malvern Bank will now head to Denison. They'll be off at I-80 Speedway, which will leave room for the Nebraska 360 Sprint Series to be there. So you can see Jack Dover, Shaylee Bade, Cody Ledger, all the Carpenter Lane Nebraska 360 regulars at I-80 Speedway on the 27th.
But 3 nights of the Lucas Oil Series. It's going to be pretty awesome.
I just made a wager with Dre Hempel, who is working down at I-80 Speedway. He thinks that Jonathan Davenport will win that Thursday night Go 50. Yeah, I put $5 on Scott Bloomquist to win the Go 50, the Thursday night edition. So Thursday night will now pay $10,000 to win for the Lucas Oil late models. It'll also feature USMTS practice and modified racing. And then Friday night they'll come back. USMTS and Lucas Oil will qualify for Saturday. Saturday, last chance qualifiers. The Owl Belt Dash will be on Saturday night, and then they'll do the features for both races. That purse is well over the $300,000 by now.
Oh, I would certainly think so. I know
weekend.
it was. I think what did Joe told us earlier? $240 or something.
It was
before the
$260.
Thursday.
It was
$260?
$265 last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I mean that's now they've added that Thursday night race on there, paying $10,000 to win. So yeah, that's got to be a $50,000 purse by itself.
And the Malvern Bank Series on the Thursday of the Silver Dollar Nationals pays its largest purse, $5,300 to win.
Yep.
$53,000 to win on Saturday for the Lucas Oils, $10,000 for the Malvern Bank Go 50, and then another $10,000 for the USMTS. The total purse has got to be well over $300,000. That'll be all coming up July 19th, 20th, and 21st at I-80 Speedway. Get your 3-day passes in advance now for $100. You'll save yourself a couple of dollars. It's only a couple of dollars, but it's enough for a Nebraska's Best Pork Tenderloin sandwich by getting them in advance and not buying the tickets individually.
Or a cold adult beverage.
There you go. You can get a couple of those.
When it's 100 degrees outside, those are very nice.
I'm hoping for a cold snap coming up that weekend. All right, next weekend we will be back at it again. We'll recap the race in Michigan. We'll get you the latest news on the Pick'ems contest. We'll talk about a couple of the news and notes from NASCAR. We'll get set with a couple of other drivers. Dirk, we're getting finally through some of our interviews, and we've got some open schedules. So we'll get to work getting us some new drivers to get in here. And with June coming up, I know we've got, with us being over at Iowa Speedway that weekend and being live, we'll bring you some Xfinity Series or NASCAR drivers, maybe even a couple of the lower series.
And also next week, we need to thank Archer Purdue Used Auto Sales for sponsoring our live show.
Absolutely. Find them online, archerpurdue.com. That's going to do it for us today. Make sure you get your picks in by 1 o'clock for the season-long Pick'ems contest. Make sure you get registered by noon, and then your picks are due by 1 o'clock for the Iowa Speedway Crewman for a Day contest. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. This has been The Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
The official watering hole of the Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.